Don't you wish you could find any chord in any mode instantly? Or see a chord in all of its possible musical spellings just by looking at it? Or voice lead chord progressions on the spot? This is the musical superpower we unleash through learning interval mapping. Most interval training teaches us intervals from one fixed reference point, a sort of surrogate root or tonic. This works for ear training, but much more musical understanding comes from learning intervals from the perspective of other intervals. Once we're able to do this, we gain a fluency in harmony that can be used both analytically and creatively. So, what do I mean by interval mapping? Well, we all understand that the major third is a major third above the root, but not as many know that the major third is a perfect fourth below the major sixth, or that the perfect fourth is a major sixth above the minor sixth, or that the minor third is an augmented fourth below the major sixth. Learning all these intervals from all these different intervallic perspectives is interval mapping. Now this isn't just a party trick that'll make you catnip to the ladies. Once we're fluent, we'll be able to find any chord in any mode instantly, without having to commit any of them to memory. We'll be able to look at any chord and see all of the other possible musical spellings it has by flipping it over a different root, which can really help our melodic thinking when playing top line parts. And we'll be able to understand what the smoothest voice leading options are at any given time in our chord progressions. In the next video, we'll look at how to use this system practically in all of these different situations, but for now, let's try and unearth what it is I'm actually banging on about. Now obviously learning every single interval from the perspective of every other interval is a huge ask, so I'm going to recommend a method that gives you the most bang for your intervallic buck. Most intervals that you come across in most music are covered in the major scale and the natural minor scale. If you're fluent in the interval mapping of these two modes, then you're already most of the way there, as all of the intervals featured in these two modes also feature heavily in the other modes of the major scale. We can of course extend this to more obscure scales and modes, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We can practice this by taking any interval and learning its relationship to every other interval found in the scale, by learning what interval our chosen interval is both below and above each other interval. Sound confusing enough? Let's try a couple together. First, I nominate an interval, in this case the major second, and now I'm going to consider this interval in respect of every other interval found in the scale. We already know its relationship to the root, so let's start with the major third and work upwards. The major second is a major second below the major third and a minor seventh above. The major second is a minor third below the perfect fourth and a major sixth above, and so on and so forth with the rest of the intervals from the mode. Do this with every interval in the scale, and you'll start to be able to see harmonic relationships from the inside out. Once fluent, if someone were to ask me what is the chord built on the 6th scale degree in Lydian, or in other words, what is the 6th chord in Lydian, I can answer immediately that it is 6 minor, as I know that the major second is a major sixth above the perfect fourth. In the next part of the series, we'll look into this in much more detail, as well as how interval mapping can help us improve our grasp on voice leading and chord reinterpretation. See you soon.